Hello everyone and welcome back to the video. In today's video, we're going to be going over all of the regional events that happened this week. And obviously, we already covered Delfino Mazda, but we also had two C-tier events in Ryu Bora Part 2 and Battle Over the Bridge 100. And we also had a B+ tier in Regen 2023. So let's just get right into it. And the first tournament we're going to be taking a look at is going to be Ryu Bora. For 7th place, you're going to have Leaf and Futari. 5th place, Lax and Masa. 4th place, Aegis. 3rd place, Tashai. 2nd place, Takara. And winning the entire thing, you actually had Meta Terra. Now, Meta Knight is not a super common character at the top level. And honestly, I would be fairly confident saying that Meta Terra is the best Meta Knight in the world. I mean, there are a couple other really good ones. Bonk's really good. Abadongo, when he's playing the character, is really good. Yay, when he gets to go to stuff, is really good. But none of them have a C-tier win this season, as well as none of them having a win over Mia. Meta Terra was able to beat Mia, which is absolutely insane. He managed to do that at Kagura 10, and at this tournament, he was able to pick up wins on players like Leaf, Lax, Masa, Tashai, and Takara in the grand finals. Did not drop a single set. Meta Knight is a very weird character in the meta because he's got some very broken things about him. I mean, his dash attack kills you at 0%, but he is fairly linear in some areas, gets power crept a little bit, but he's definitely a character that you can take to the limit and actually go super far in these brackets, like we saw here with Metatar. This is the first time that he's actually made a run this deep, and the fact that he was able to collect the dub gives me a lot of confidence for him going into the second half of the year. Maybe we'll see him top 8ing a major event soon. I honestly wouldn't be super surprised because, again, Meta Knight is a very weird character. We're not going to see him a lot, but he has the stuff to get into the top 8, so very curious to see how Metaterra continues in 2023. I also want to give a huge shout out to Shai and his run to 3rd place. He just looked super impressive this tournament. Samus is a character that you do see a lot at the top level, so it's not a big shock to see another one of them doing well, but Tashai looked incredible here. I'm not going to give him the title of the best Samus in Japan quite yet because Yara obviously still exists, Tora as well. There's a lot of good Samus players in Japan. I mean, there's good Samus players everywhere, but if Tashai keeps putting up results like this, I mean, I'm going to have to throw his name into the conversation because at this tournament, he was able to beat Reno, who was the first seed, Lai, who had just beaten Spargo at SmashCon, which is already crazy enough in itself. Then he beat Takara, who was ranked top 50 in the world on his run to 3rd place. Just looked incredibly impressive here. And again, Samus, a character very popular at the top level. You're going to have a lot of success in every single region. But Tashai is a player that hasn't been able to make runs this deep quite yet. So hopefully we can see him repeating his performances because he just looked on fire this event. And really quickly, before we do move on to the next event, I want to give a shout out to Masa, Aegis, and Lax. These are just 3 players that I've had my eye on as of late, and I've just been very impressed by. Aegis, I would say that he is the best Terry player in the world, at least the best solo main Terry in the world, because obviously Riddle still exists. Andres FN's Terry might be a little bit better, but when it comes down to just playing Terry, Aegis is definitely your guy. He's had some incredible results, and honestly, I just think that they're going to continue. Definitely something that you got to look out for. Masa as well. I wouldn't say he's the best Falco in the world right now, because Matsunabe still exists. Tilde got 3rd place at Gama. We just need to see Tilde going more events, so that'd be a little bit easier to gauge. But Masa, an incredible player, and Lax, the consistency that Lax has with Chrom is crazy. Now, he does have a secondary Roy, but he's doing a majority of the heavy lifting with Chrom. I mean, at this event alone, he was able to beat Reno, who, again, was the first seed, preventing him from getting top 8, sending Reno out at 9th place, as well as beating Futari for a 5th place. I mean, I love seeing Chrom play at the top level, and Lax gives the best Chrom play. Also, I just completely forgot to mention this, but Leaf ended up getting 7th place with Robin, which is just crazy. I mean, the characters that are having success right now in 2023 makes literally no sense. Next up, you're going to have Battle Over the Bridge 100, and we are going to be fairly brief here just because there wasn't a ton of crazy stuff that happened, but for our top 8 placements, you're going to have Noodle and Biddy in 7th, Vince and Delta Force in 5th, WebJP in 4th, Syrup in 3rd, Jackal in 2nd, and winning the entire thing you had Tweak. Now, the craziest upset of the weekend definitely had to be Syrup over Tweak in a reverse 3-0 fashion. It's been a little bit since we've seen Syrup getting results similar to this. I mean, 2022, absolutely farming, not as much so in 2023, but to his credit, he hasn't been going to as many events, as well as switching from pretty much solo Ness to pretty much solo Steve. Whichever character you're switching to at the top level, there's always going to be an adjustment period, but clearly Syrup back on his A game. I mean, he reversed 3-0 Tweak. Not a lot of people can say that they've done that. And Tweak's run as well, very impressive. Was able to beat Justin Byleth in the winner setup bracket, failed to Syrup, then was able to beat Vince, WebJP, Syrup in the run back 3-1, and then 6-1 Jackal in the grand finals. I think Tri-State as a region is probably the best one right now in Smash Ultimate. Maybe there's a sub-region in Japan that is a little bit stronger, but in terms of the USA, it is absolutely Tri-State. I mean, you have all the hitters that showed up at this event. You have players like DeBuzz, you have players like Leon, you have players like Zomba. It's just such a strong region overall. Quid as well. I mean, I could go on and on how good Tri-State is, and it's because their players just keep showing up at events. And our final event of the weekend is going to be Regen 2023 coming in at a B plus tier. For our top 8 placements, you're going to have Lancelot and Mr. R in 7th, Modzai in Space in 5th, Pelly in 4th, Tarek in 3rd, Icon in 2nd, and winning the entire thing you had Lugi. And right away, we got to talk about Bloom Forever, who ended up getting 9th place at this event, losing to Icon and losing to Lancelot. Now, Lancelot, unfortunately for me, did not play Chrom in that set. It was with Roy, but Roy's also a character that hasn't been getting a lot of great results in 2023, so huge ups to him for that. And Icon as well, I mean, he is looking like an incredibly scary player. We'll talk about him a little bit more later on in the video. But Bloom Forever, it's another underperformance from him. He has one at King of Fields as well, but this is only the second one of the year, and it is still only a 9th place, so I wouldn't be super worried about it. Again, it always sucks to miss out on the top 8, especially when you are the first seed like he was here, but the world isn't going to end just because you miss one top 8 at one regional. In 7th place, you're going to have Lancelot and Mr. R. I already kind of mentioned Lancelot's win over Bloom Forever, but he was also able to pick up wins on Sesko, Giglez, Elite Tweet, and Jezel. All this in the loser side of bracket after losing to Streaks, who immediately DQ'd after beating him, by the way. So shout out to Streaks for that. That is very funny. But Lancelot, another Chrom player, having a really nice run. Even though Roy probably did like 99.99% of the heavy lifting this tournament, the Roy was the only character used versus Bloom Forever. I want to shout out the Chrom because, hey, there's not a lot of Chrom reps right now in Smash Ultimate, and we need more of them. So big ups to Lancelot. Very nice run from him. Mr. R as well. He had a bit of trouble when he was traveling internationally. 193rd at Kaguribi, 65th at Battle BC. Does clean it up at the end there with a 13th at Gommel, and a really nice run here at Regen to 7th place, beating Kendrick Almar, which is probably the best name in the Smash scene. Raflo, a player that had previously beaten him 6 times in a row, so that was someone that he was having a lot of troubles with, was able to overcome that, as well as Robbie, AK-47. So really nice run from Mr. R again. I feel like his international performances didn't really showcase how amazing he is as a player, and hopefully if we are able to see him again, he's able to put up results like this, because Mr. R is crazy. In 5th place, you're going to have Modzai and Space. Modzai picking up wins on Slipknot, Elite Tweet, and Flow. And Pac-Man is just a very weird character to me right now in the meta, because I think Pac-Man is broken. Top 20 character, absolutely ridiculous. We haven't been seeing a ton of Pac-Man results this year, though. Obviously, that has been mainly to T having some underperformances, even though he's still top 15 in the world. But Modzai, another player that has been picking up on those Pac-Man placements. JDV as well. Obviously, Pac-Man players still do exist, but not as much in the previous years. This character is still absolutely broken, and players like Modzai are proving why. Space as well. Really nice run from him. One of the top players right now in Europe, was able to pick up wins on Honeyyo, the Schmix tape, and Solo before losing to Lugi and Tarek. He is one of the front runners right now, playing that combination of Aegis and Inkling, though it is definitely mainly Aegis. I still like that the Inkling does come out, because I know if I call main Aegis and Inkling, that Inkling would never see the day of light. So Space still staying true to his roots from time to time, still picking up that character when he does think the matchups are favorable, but obviously Aegis is typically going to be the choice. In 4th place, you got Pelly. 3rd place, Tarek. Pelly is a player that does not get talked about nearly enough, because this guy's only been to 4 events with 100 entrants or more this year, including Regen, and he has top 8'd every single one of them, winning 7 sets in a row at this event after getting upset fairly early on by Solo, the Rosalina player, so huge shouts to Solo for that one. But he was able to get wins on players like Raflo, Al BBS, Solo in the runback, 3-0, by the way, Mr. R, and Modzai before losing the Tarek. I mean, Pelly, such an impressive player. He was the first player in Europe to be actually able to dethrone Gluttony. That talent just doesn't disappear. He is still extremely scary. Definitely something you have to look out for. I feel like Ken and Sonx are getting a lot of the time in the limelight right now, just because obviously Sonx is top 5 in the world. Ken got 5th place at both the major events that he's been to recently. But honestly, if Pelly was just showing up at those events, he'd probably be getting fairly similar results. This guy is extremely talented. In 3rd place, though, you're going to have Tarek. And Pelly's run was nice, but Tarek's run takes the cake, winning 8 sets in a row. In actuality, he only won 7 sets in a row because Streaks did DQ, but he was able to beat SBF, Slipknot, Orion, Flo, Lancelot, Space, and Pelly for 3rd place, only losing to Icon and Elite Tweet, so shout out to Elite Tweet for that upset as well. Tarek is one of the front runners of Europe right now. I mean, he has been looking extremely impressive, especially in his international debuts, 25th at SmashCon, having the most competitive set I've possibly ever seen versus Mutas, making an absolutely ludicrous comeback there. And it's been a lot more Greninja as late, at least from what I've seen. Definitely Kazuya is still going to have his usage, but Greninja seems to be doing the heavy lifting, and shocker, he is getting some very good results, because Greninja is not a character that's super common at the top level, can definitely catch people off guard, and definitely has the tools to take someone super far in a bracket. And when you have someone like Tarek piloting the character, it is so dangerous. And our finalists are Icon in second and Lugi in first. And I gotta say, Icon has thrown a wrench into the European meta. Europe is a region I feel like is fairly set in stone, at least compared to the other regions. Is Boot in the end event? If he is, he's probably going to be in the grand finals. Siski, Bloom Forever, Lugi, those are players that you can expect to get in your top four. And then Icon shows up, and he says, you know what? I don't really care about any event. 9th place at King of Fields, wins Doses of Cell, 2nd place at this event, beating Jezo, Orion, Bloom Forever, Modzai, Tarek, and Lugi. Such a talented player. And I will say, it's not like Europe didn't have a top FGC player before. You have Andres FN, but of all of Andres FN's characters, his Ryu is probably the one that gets the least playset. So Icon is a very interesting player to introduce into the European meta. He's been absolutely thriving as of now. I wouldn't call him the best Ryu in the world yet. I mean, obviously, Osmo is going to be there. I wouldn't even call the conversation for him to be the best Ryu in the world, but if there were to be a conversation, it would definitely be Icon as the front runner. I mean, he's absolutely the second best Ryu in the world right now, has some crazy good results, and if he can keep that up, maybe I'll be a little bit more optimistic about his chances of taking that title from Osmo, because he definitely could, because this guy is absolutely insane. And our final player that we're going to be talking about is going to be Lugi, the winner of the event, beating Muck, LBBS, Mr. R, Space, and Icon twice, only dropping one set to Icon in the grand finals. And Lugi, such an impressive player. We've only seen him one time internationally, which was his 25th at Battle BC. I feel like that really doesn't kind of show how amazing he is as a player, because he lost to Spargo and Kamemi at that event for 25th, so just kind of unlucky. But he's got a 2nd place at King of Fields. Crazy loser run there. Wins this event, not dominantly, because he does drop that set to Icon. He does drop games throughout, but he still was able to close it out in 2023. Being able to win an event of this size with Luigi feels absolutely crazy to me. And he does this with like no secondaries, by the way. It is all Luigi from Lugi. I mean, the name does kind of imply it, and he does make it work. Such a talented player, someone that I need to see traveling more, because I know he would shake up every single meta that he is introduced to. And I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This sport has been absolutely unreal lately. If there's any player that I left out from any of these tournaments at any point in the video, please just let me know down below. And that's all I gotta say. Be sure to sub, all that yada yada, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.